Good afternoon, my beautiful babes and babettes. I am your resident active advocate, and I am cold. Oh my gosh, it's cold. So hopefully you can excuse the wearing of Fluffius Giganticus, but I feel like I'm wearing a bear, so that makes me happy. All right, so today I would like to discuss with all of you the social ramifications of the book Warrior Scarlet by Rosemary Sutcliffe. So, this book is set in Bronze Age England. So, we're talking before the birth of Christ here, significantly before, actually. But in this society, there is a great separation of the sexes from one another. There is the man's realm and the women's realm. And in this book, the in-betweens don't actually come into play. Not very much. But if you are a man, you are expected to hunt for the tribe and to be a warrior and a great fighter. If you were a woman, you were expected to stay home and cook and clean for the men. So our main character, Drem, has a crippled right arm, like a shrunken right arm. He's not able to use it. And the majority of the fighters in his clan are archers. He doesn't have the capability for that because of his arm. So instead, he substitutes the use of a bow for the use of a spear. Very good, Drem. Thank you for finding a way to do shit. But the whole thing in this book is that in order to prove your mettle as a warrior, you are required to go out and slay a wolf. If you can accomplish this, you are to be made a kilt of scarlet, hence the title Warrior Scarlet, because it proves that you are a successful warrior. When Drem gets the opportunity to slay his wolf, he does unfortunately fail at first, but then because of that failure, he is basically ostracized from his family and his whole community and has to go and live with the shepherd people who are themselves despised by the warrior clans. And, they're very much looked down upon by society as less manly, even less human. They are less than us. There's a great divide in this book between us and them as well. So when this happens to Drem, the social ramifications are basically that disability is meant to be seen as an emasculating thing, that he is only fit for what you might call, quote, soft work, things that aren't actually that difficult as compared to being a warrior and a huntsman and, one of these very hard masculine sorts of things. This has carried on into our society. You see a athlete or, a thing like that become disabled, say a boxer with Parkinson's because of multiple shots to the head throughout their life. That person is no longer considered an athlete. That person is really no longer considered to be up to the, quote, standard of what this hypermasculine ideal promotes for men. This ideal has been around for a very long time, as I say, since the Bronze Age, but even before that, when we were still hunter-gatherer societies and largely nomadic, human beings have always had a need to fill their bellies, to stay alive. Of course, we're alive. We have to stay that way. And according to these rigid sex and gender definitions and barriers, if you are not a contributing member of your clan, of your tribe, of your society, if you are not able to keep yourself alive and other people alive, then especially as a male, you are, quote, less human than you would otherwise be. You are less us. There's this sort of hierarchy. It's a completely false hierarchy, but it's like us, like us, not us, and them. All right? when it comes to being a person with a disability, there is often a fine line that is walked depending on what the disability is between like us, not us, and them. But the person with the disability, and again, especially in these hypermasculine ideals, the person with the disability can never be us. They can never be at the tippy top of the pyramid. And I have discussed pyramids and hierarchies to great extent in this series. But what happens with Drem is that later on in the book, he is able to save both himself and his shepherd friend from the same wolf that he had tried to slay on the actual day of his wolf slaying. And it is due to this act that he is permitted back into the society, permitted back into the tribe, and he's seen as exceptional. People see him as, oh, hey, you're one of us now. You are, by the way, us. This is both a good thing and a bad thing because it is a subversion of the they cannot be us if they have a disability trope. At the same time, though, he has to gain this us status by virtue of playing into the patriarchal structure of his society. And the patriarchal structure is the thing that has been oppressing the shepherd people and the women and the people with disabilities who would otherwise be part of their tribe for this whole time, for all of Drem's life. And within the book, you get a sense of a shift slowly occurring in their collective consciousness because this book actually takes place at the close of the Bronze Age, and they are presented iron by a traveler. And they find that, oh, God, this metal is so much more superior to what we have. It's like our way of life, because of this new metal, is going to fall apart. But there are other factors that could very easily cause their tribe to fall apart, given that it is so rigidly stratified and so rigidly structured. Things with rigidity, they can't last. If you actually blow up a big gust of wind against a very rigid structure, it's going to fall. And I know that this is a metaphor, but the rigid structure will fall. The flexible structure will bend. That's why pine trees blow over in the wind, but bamboo does not. So, okay, maybe that's a tortured mixed metaphor, I don't know. But what I'm saying ostensibly is that we need to be malleable as a society and to allow people into the places in which they find they fit, rather than saying, because you are like X, you cannot be us. Or because you are like Y, you are us, regardless of any other factor that you might have. If you are abled, white, male, rich, you're, quote, us, no matter how much of a jerk you are. I personally have a problem with that. I hope that others in my audience have a problem with this stratification as well, and with these structures, because if you're not going to be flexible, you're going to fall apart at some point. Be flexible, be accepting, and, let others find their own way under their own terms. I think that's the general conceit of this book, really, even though the patriarchy and the hypermasculinity still do stand at the end of the book. But, as I say, the general conceit is that Drem is able to find his own way. And just because he's a person with a disability doesn't make him any less valuable than any other member of his tribe. It's a well-trodden message in a great deal of disability lit, and it's a good message, so it should be well-trodden. And later on, I will get into greater detail about that exact subject. In the next book, I address, which I can't remember what the next book is. Again, sorry. I have a list. Maybe this will become a meme of my series as well. Just like this. I am done with today's video. Thank you very much for your lovely attention and participation, and I will see you all tomorrow. Mwah!